Today's reading is going to be from A Path with Heart by Jack Kornfield. And I'm going to read he writes about developing a healing attention. So I guess when you listen to this, maybe close your eyes. Sit comfortably and quietly. Let your body rest easily. Breathe gently. Let go of your thoughts, past and future, memories and plans. Just be present. Begin to let your own precious body reveal the places that most need healing. Allow the physical pains, tensions, diseases, or wounds to show themselves. Bring a careful and kind attention to these painful places. Slowly and carefully feel their physical energy. Notice what is deep inside them. The pulsations, throbbing, tension, needles, heat, contraction, aching, that make up what we call pain. Allow these all to be fully felt, or felt fully. To be held in a receptive and kind attention. Then be aware of the surrounding area of your body. If there is a contraction and holding, notice this gently. Breathe softly and let it open. Then in the same way, be aware of any aversion or resistance in your mind. Notice this, too, with a soft attention, without resisting, allowing it to be as it is, allowing it to open in its own time. Now notice the thoughts and fears that accompany the pain you are exploring. It will never go away. Or your mind is thinking, it will never go away. I can't stand it. I don't deserve this. It is too hard, too much trouble, too deep, and so on. Let these thoughts rest in your kind attention for a time. Your kind attention. Then gently return to your physical body. Let your awareness be deeper and more allowing now. Again, feel the layers of the place of pain and allow each layer that opens to move, to intensify or dissolve in its own time. Bring your attention to the pain as if you were gently comforting a child, holding it all in a loving and soothing attention. Breathe softly into it, accepting all that is present with a healing kindness. Continue this meditation until you feel reconnected with whatever part of your body calls you, until you feel at peace. As your healing attention develops, you can direct it regularly to significant areas of illness or pain in your body. You can then scan your body for additional areas that call for your caring attention. In the same way, you can direct a healing attention to deep emotional wounds you carry. Grief, longing, rage, loneliness, and sorrow can all be felt in your body. With careful and kind attention, you can feel deep inside them. Stay with them. After some time, you can breathe softly and open your attention to each of the layers of contraction, emotions, and thoughts that are carried with them. Finally, you can let these two rest as if you were gently comforting a child, accepting all that is present until you feel at peace. You can work with the heart in this way as often as you wish. Remember, the healing of our body and heart is always there. It simply awaits our compassionate attention. Remember, the healing of our body and heart is always there. It simply awaits our compassionate attention. And it reminds me of the last reading that I did about the subtleties of life. So much, it's always keeps coming back to my attention about how much of the inner work that we do is so subtle. It's about quieting down and allowing and listening. When I get quiet, then my body will speak to me. And there's, so much of being on the go. Sometimes the only time that is quiet is at the end of the day when I'm tired. But more and more, I remember to take moments in between. Rest in the middle, as Frank Ostaseski suggests, recommends. Resting in the middle of things, in the middle of busyness or chaos, or when you're on the go, resting and taking a moment and doing that little body scan. Close your eyes, relax, and then see what rises to the surface. There's always something. And watching the thoughts that are attached to that. And just seeing if you can hold space for it. And as simple as that sounds, it is where true healing lives. For me, that's really what this is. This is just communing and sharing. So for me, real healing always exists in the subtleties, in the quiet moments, in the listening to my body and allowing the things to flow through and witnessing it, right? The thoughts, good, bad, everything in between, the feelings, good, bad, everything in between, and breathing, always coming back to the breath and creating more and more space. What do you do? What have you found? Or maybe you haven't found anything and you try that. Jack Kornfield, he's been teaching for, I don't even know how many years now. Long time. At least 50 years. And just reading his book, like I could just hear his voice. His voice is so soft and gentle. So when I was reading, I felt like I wanted to channel his soft and gentleness. And this seems to be something that we can come back to, so you can listen to this over and over again. Listen to the beginning of it. Maybe take your time and write it down. Or maybe you want to buy that book, Path with Heart, Jack Kornfield with a K, Kornfield. If it speaks to you, it's a beautiful book. Every time I open it, I have not read it front to back, but I have picked pages in between, and it seems every time I pick a page, it speaks to me in a different way. I'm going to pick one more before I wrap things up, because I saw, and it all ties together, right? So that attention, heart attention, body attention kind of meditation that I read in the beginning ties into this off first glance, but I'm sure it does. The heart is our garden, and along with each action, there is an intention that is planted like a seed. We can use a sharp knife to cut someone, and if our intention is to do harm, we will be a murderer. We can perform an almost identical action, but if we are a surgeon, the intention is to heal and save a life. The action is the same, yet depending on its purpose or intention, it can be either a terrible act or a compassionate act. That is interesting. This is a chapter about karma. The heart is our garden. The heart is our garden. What seeds, what intentions do you plant? And really that does make up our existence, is all the seeds that we plant, and then the actions that we take, the thoughts, words, and actions that we take to see things to fruition, whether purposeful or not. That's why these practices allow us to be more mindful of the seeds that we plant within ourselves. And so, does that tie into healing ourselves? The way that I would tie that together would be to the awareness that we have when we sit quietly within ourselves, and to allow ourselves to open and heal. Allow us to see the seeds that we have planted. And with practice from a non-judgmental place, if something is uncomfortable, or if we have something going on within ourselves that we're not, that doesn't feel good, we're not happy with, we can start to give it space and be compassionate with ourselves, right? So we can always use the tool of mindfulness and awareness and space giving and breath to reshape seeds that have sprouted that we have not necessarily nurtured in the way that we could have. So for me, it's a chance to forgive myself when I become aware of seeds that I planted that have sprouted that were not done in mindfulness, that don't align with where I am now in my life. I forgive myself for the subtlety of forgiving, right? I forgive myself I might start by forgiving myself for planting that seed, right? Why did I even do that? But then I forgive myself for being harsh on myself, right? I forgive myself for being harsh and not having compassion in that moment when I recognize that something was not in alignment. Maybe it was not the best decision. Maybe it was done mindlessly. So I forgive myself for being harsh. I don't forgive myself. And maybe I do forgive myself for the outcome, but just forgive myself for being so hard on myself first. And then that reminds me of the first meditation that we started with, is creating space for the healing to begin, to recognize that in the moment that we have anything in our past, right? We're different now in this moment. We can't compare things even to who we were then and who we are now. Even if it doesn't seem drastic, we're different in each moment. And so it's always an opportunity to get quiet and listen and witness and approach it with that gentleness that you would a child, and work on compassion for yourself, gentleness with yourself. Forgive yourself for being harsh. I think that's it for today. Thank you for sharing. And if you feel compelled to comment or share or whatever, then I would love to hear from you, or share this with someone that you think could benefit from the words somehow. I appreciate it. Namaste.